Hey guys, it's Devin. I know it's been a while since I've done a video, but there have been a lot of things that have been going on in the world. I became an essential employee again, and so with all the pandemic stuff, and then life gets busy, kids started school again instead of being homeschooled, so lots of different things. So I wanted to start making these videos again because, first of all, before I start talking about why I want to make these videos, I want to take a moment to say how incredibly disgusted I am at the actions that took place in Uvalde, Texas, and how incredibly sorrowful I am for the families of the victims involved in that. No parent, brother, or sister, uncle, or aunt should ever have to go through what the Uvalde community is going through. I don't want to take away from the tragedy that happened at this time by discussing anything other than it happened. And that, first and foremost, needs to be recognized and really reverenced. I mean, life is sacred. Whether or not you agree with me on my stance when it comes to firearms and personal ownership and defense, whether or not you're a liberal, a conservative, a Democrat, a Republican, a libertarian, I don't think any of that matters. I think we all recognize that life is sacred. Human life, animal life, cruelty in any form is something that we should be disgusted by and not be forced to tolerate. And unfortunately, sometimes we do. And some of us, as is the case of the community in Uvalde, that tolerance is thrust upon us is something that is just it's heart-wrenching. So I wanted to first and foremost address that. My heart goes out to you. I'm not going to disclose, but I have already personally donated to the fund that the Uvalde Elementary School set up. I can put a link in the description below. I've also posted it on my personal Facebook page, and I've sent out lots of messages about that. You know, there's a lot of talk about actions and changing of legislation and getting into politics regarding it. The best thing, if you want to make a difference in the lives of these families in this community right now, is to actually donate to helping them at this time, helping to cover funeral costs, helping to cover medical bills, and all of the things that are involved in this. So I want to make sure that is addressed first and foremost. Second, I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about why I want to start making these videos again. I've had several family members, some professional associates, and just general people. I use Facebook as my primary source of outreach to the world, I guess, and I use these YouTube videos. I want to thank this very small subscriber number that I have, 88. I guess that's better than some people, but I'm not a high-profile person. I am an everyday guy. I have an everyday job. I have kids. My wife works. I work. I like the Constitution. I like the Second Amendment. I firmly believe in being able to defend my family, my property, my community, and my country. And I do that in different ways. And, you know, if this channel grows a little bit, I'll maybe disclose some of the ways that I do that. I want to make sure that I recognize some of the inspirations that I have. Obviously, my family, my faith in my country, but also some of the influencers. Kulian Noor from NRA, and as a lawyer, understanding way more about constitutional Second Amendment law than I do. My take on things is very much an everyman's kind of take on it. It's someone who loves his country and loves the history of his country, even though that there are things that, you know, some people would like to take away or like to say didn't happen or like to focus on and say that's the foundation. Our histories shape us. whether that's a happy history or a negative history. The things that happened in the past help us to learn from the future, hopefully. So that's why I want to go back to making these videos. I want people to be informed. If you don't like firearms, if you don't like the Second Amendment, if you don't like guns, that's fine. You don't have to watch these videos. If you want to leave comments and try to rip me apart or do rip me apart, hey, that's great. I love hearing different perspectives. I love hearing different feelings and emotions. What I don't like is when people start spouting things and there's twisted metrics and twisted agendas, as you guys have seen from some of my other videos, claiming things like, especially with what happened in Uvalde, Texas, the AR-15 is not the deadliest weapon in America. The FBI statistics for homicide, suicide, deaths related to firearms, hands down, 100%, is the 9mm cartridge. It can be shot from a long rifle, it can be shot from a pistol, it can be shot from an AR platform, it can be shot from a 3D printed gun. Like, there are lots of different ways that the 9mm can be fired. And it is the most used caliber round, hands down, in gun-related violence. And I love the 9mm. So if this channel isn't for you based on the things that I've said, if you don't want to open yourself up to learning things from an everyday perspective, from someone who's done his own personal research, someone who looks at both sides of the table, who's willing to look at things from an emotional standpoint, but also from a factual and statistical standpoint, then don't watch this channel. But if you want to learn more and you're open to that, I'm really excited to be able to do things. I like feedback. I want people to talk to me. I want you to tell me what you want to know. If you want to just attack and say things like, why don't you demand this? Why don't you demand that when it comes to legislation or common sense gun control? I am going to post videos and I'm going to post responses asking you exactly what you want to change. If you can't tell me that, if you're going to demand that from your political leaders, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, if you don't know what that looks like, you probably shouldn't be demanding it, because demanding something, demanding a blank check, or saying you're going to write a blank check to something is a very, very irresponsible act. You're demanding legislation without knowing what you're demanding. And that has resulted in very bad things in the past. If you want to give me some examples of things that you would like, that's fine. If you want to cite other countries and their gun control laws or their stance on firearm and gun ownership, that's fine. But I'm not going to restrict it to the 5 or 6 or 7 countries that have a fraction of our population, a fraction of our gun ownership, and that have maintained gun control laws since the 1500s. I'm talking to you, United Kingdom and Great Britain. If you want to cite that, that's fine. If you want to cite Australia, that's fine. Also, up until its independence from Great Britain, a colony of Great Britain. I'm going to bring up countries like Switzerland, which is brought up for lots of other reasons when it comes to having arguments about the way that a political system and the way that a society should work. Switzerland is one of the most liberal in terms of gun laws, and they have the fewest number of gun deaths and gun violence that I am aware of in any nation across the planet. And when you look at their statistical ownership, they have about 8 million citizens, I believe it is, and 1 million of them own private firearms. Those are firearms that are unregistered by the government. And that includes single and semi-automatic firearms, which is what you would find in the case of, say, a bolt-action rifle versus an AR-15, or an AR-style rifle or an AK-style rifle. But you are also able to own fully automatic weapons in Switzerland, and those would be registered. But there's some different stipulations. So there's a lot that's going on in this video. I don't want to take up too much more time. I wanted this to be a short video. But please, I'm looking to name the channel. I've got some ideas. I'm thinking everyday two-way, layman two-way. I'd like to incorporate two-way or two-way truth, friends of firearms, I remember one of the videos I did had to do with the little firearm, or not firearm, but the little ammunition characters. So any feedback that you guys want to give me, please help me make this channel something that you all want to take part in. I hope that people reach out and show support. I hope it's not just my friends and family, but if it is, that's fine. I'm going to try to put out more content. Probably once a week is what I'm going to stick with. We'll try to do some fun stuff. We'll try to do some serious stuff, but I want to hear back from you guys. So please feel free to leave comments and check out the link below for the donations to the Uvalde community. So thank you. I hope everyone has a good time. Hope everyone enjoyed their Memorial Day and were thoughtful in remembering the people that came and sacrificed more than what you or I have ever sacrificed, hopefully. And yeah, have a good week, folks.